welcome to another Checiegirl Creations DIY video. So today I will be creating a page in this journal. I got this from somebody quite a few years ago. It's just filled with a whole bunch of different papers, some like handmade, some of vellum, and I haven't really done anything in it. I did put like a bit of leftover paint on the first few pages, but apart from that I haven't used it, so I thought it would be nice to pull this out and do a few pages in it. So the first page here, you can see that I just stamped this like mason jar on it, and I put some kind of texture paste or something on that from a leftover project ages ago. So I will use this page first. I'm not too sure if I'm going to stick to what's on here. I could just use this as like a first layer. Yeah, so I shall have this in fast forward mode, and I'll make sure and have a voiceover so you know what I'm doing. So let's get on with the video. So I'm going to start off with adding a quick layer of paint. This is like an almond colored paint with my finger like around the jar. And I'm doing this because this page isn't primed, and I probably should have made sure it was primed before because it's very it's a glossy paper, and I did like the color of it because it was gold. So in hindsight I would have put some clear chalk primer over that and then go on, because then it just would have been easier to create on. So I'm sticking this piece of paper down. This is from like a wallpaper sample my mum brought home, and she just neatened up the edges, so I got the scraps. It was a really nice wallpaper, so I'm sticking that down using both tacky glue and PVA glue because the paper's glossy. And sadly at this time I did not have a heat gun because it was broken, and that would have really helped to just dry the layer, but because I was impatient, I was working very wet and wet, which was a bit difficult with the glossy paper. So I added a layer of chalk primer just now, and now I'm just going to add some inks just to add some color. And it isn't dry yet, I'm still working wet and wet, but I was hoping that the chalk primer would help just a little bit. Would have helped more if I had let it dry, but oh well. So I added a purple, blue, and now some red ink, and I added that red mostly because of that red texture paste that was there. And now I'm adding some Viridian paint to like the edges. Since I was going with a kind of bluey, kind of purpley theme, I thought I would add some Viridian. And now I'm going to add some red, again using my fingers. I felt as if I had more control with my fingers than a paintbrush on the glossy surface. I'm adding some more purple, felt as if I had lost that a little bit. And now some white to kind of just blend that background together, because it was just looking a bit messy, so I thought it would look nice if I blended it with some white, and it did, and I was really liking the background now. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of white to that like the wallpaper piece using a brush, and now I'm going to go in with a brush to color the jar. So I'm using phthalo blue. I'm going to go over the whole jar quite thinly, so you can still see like the stamped image as well as that modeling paste I put down over the jar. And I added some, I think that's chalk primer as well, just to kind of make it a bit gritty and to lighten that up. And you can see like how easily you can see the brush strokes because of the glossiness. So I couldn't press too hard, I had to press quite light, so it wouldn't like kind of mess up what I did before. And I'm going to add some white to add some lighter areas like where the highlights are and stuff. And I'm imagining the light coming from the right, so all those main highlights are on the right. And I thought it'd be nice to add some silver, so I'm also adding that to the highlight areas. And I think I'll also add some splashes, possibly. I'm not sure, I can't remember. Yes, I am adding splashes. And that'll just make the whole page look nice and shiny, especially when you tilt it to the light. And I also added like just some silver to the edge of the page to add a little bit of a border. And I felt as if I needed a darker border, so I'm going with that same blue just to kind of ground the page a little bit. and so it just doesn't float too much. Adding a border stops the page from floating, if that makes any sense. And I thought I wanted to add just a bit more blue to the jar. I'm also using that to add just a few details here and there. And I'm also adding some red to the border. I'm using the border a bit to draw from the colors that's in the background and in the focal image. And I added some red to like where the shadows would be from the jar, especially since that red would mix with the blue and make like a dark purple. And now I'm going to add some white to that border as well, just to kind of brighten things up a bit, and it'll also help to blend the red and the blue together. And I'm adding some of that paint that's left over on the bristles onto the jar, just to add a little bit of interest. So I put it on the radiator to dry, which you can see warped the page a bit, but that's all right. And now I'm going to add just some details and a much more defined border using this ink, and I'm using the applicator with the cover. And I'm going through a bit of a stage here working with that applicator. It's quite nice to work with actually. Don't know why I didn't use it before. And now I'm going to go in with my calligraphy pen to add the details. And yeah, I went a bit wonky with that line. Not too sure why I did that. So I had to fix that up a little bit. And yeah, so I didn't think I had the right amount of control with the applicator. So the calligraphy pens works really well with that. And I'm going to just add some like sketchy doodles around the jar, and I'll also add that to the border. And I'm just kind of splashing off some of that ink on the background as well, just to add a bit more interest. Adding some dots. I think I'll add some X's as well. And once I'm finished with that, I'm going to go in and add some highlights with my Uniball Signal pen. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'm out of the country at the moment, so you can subscribe to my newsletter to find out when I'll be back. All of these videos were filmed before, so I wouldn't miss a Monday. Yeah, so you can check me out on Instagram, Facebook, share your creations on my Facebook group, tag me on Instagram if you get inspired by any of my videos. I love to see your guys' creations. And I think that's it. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you join me again for another arty video. Bye!